Bruce, tell me what you know about what happened at the Borderline Social Club.
What we know is very limited, and it has been restricted to only what we're being told by the minimal amount of information what the Ventura Sheriff's Department has put out.
What are they hiding?
Well, just about everything, it seems like. They can put out the video and show it.
I mean, they do have a video. They won't even tell us what's on it. What would the video show, do you think? I mean, you're in the video business. What?
I'm in the video surveillance business. The Borderline had a full, complete, state-of-the-art video surveillance system. It would show everything.
We would know who the heroes are.
We would know who the heroes are, and we would know who the cowards are, too.
But we don't know.
We don't know because we're not allowed to see.
What's the story on the reports? I mean, they made a lot of reports. They took statements.
They refuse to release any specific information. They have the reports. They have the witness statements. They know absolutely. We know from Oxnard PD that there were 2 on-duty Oxnard PD officers there. We're told by the Ventura Sheriff's Department that there were 8 off-duty officers there, 2 Ventura County Sheriff's deputies and 6 others. All of them have filed witness statements, I would assume, but yet we see nothing.
Now, these off-duty officers, they don't shelve their responsibility or their oath of office because they're off-duty, do they?
No. Every law enforcement officer has a sworn duty to uphold the law, and that is their oath, and that applies on duty, off duty, doesn't make any difference.
It doesn't come with a set of hours.
No, it is not a time clock that you punch when you wear a badge.
Why do you think they're keeping the statements of these officers so carefully concealed and hidden from public view?
We know there was one hero, Sergeant Helis. He walked in to save lives, and he's dead. We know there were 10 cops inside the Borderline. They all ran. They do not want the public to know about the 10 cowards.
Now, you told me something else about the exits. You've been inside the club before, right?
Many times. I'm a dancer. I go there and I've danced many times.
What's the deal on the exits and how did they play into this?
There's only 3. The shooter came in the front door, and the other 2 exits, people couldn't get out. Their only option was to stay there and get shot, fight back, or break out a window and jump off 18, 20-foot high cliff.
So do you think that there is a possibility that the Borderline, when the club was designed, it was designed to keep perhaps paying customers or customers from leaving without paying their checks? Is that a possibility?
My experience having provided security for restaurants and bars for 3 decades, much of their concern is their own security to deal with employee theft, people sneaking in, people sneaking out. That is far more paramount than the ability for someone to flee the building in the event of an emergency. Usually we're considering a fire, but here in this circumstance, the shooter knew he had them trapped.
What would you tell the parents of these dead, beautiful children that were murdered in the club, and the spouses? What would and the people who were injured? What would you tell them to do?
I would say, get a good attorney. Demand justice, demand answers, and demand accountability.
Tell me what the failures are here.
Well, there's multiple failures. I think the greatest failure is the fact that the sheriff of Ventura County does not recognize the right of the citizens to protect themselves. Those young men and women in there are American citizens. They should have had the ability to exercise their right to defend themselves, and they were denied it by the sheriff, and that's why they're dead.
Number 2, what's the second failure?
Second failure, the policy that the bar had to deny weapons is a failed policy. It didn't affect the shooter one bit. He ignored the rule because he's a killer to kill people. Yet their rule denied the citizens who did jump through the hoops to be able to carry a firearm their ability to defend themselves and their neighbors.
A gun-free zone failure is what you're talking about.
The only gun in the gun-free zone is in the hands of the killer. How'd that work out?
Not very good. Okay, number 3, what's the third failure?
Third failure. If the club had focused on the ability for people to get out in an emergency, many of them would have been able to escape and not be trapped. The fourth failure is,
Okay,
and this is hard to get our head around,
okay,
it is inconceivable that one guy could walk in the door of a restaurant, which it borderlines a restaurant, and kill and execute 11 people with 10 policemen inside. That is inconceivable. But yet, one shooter walks in, and there are 2 on duty Oxnard PD, 8 other officers, and the 10 cops ran and let one whack job with a gun execute these people. They know the facts. They know the truth. They're hiding it. I can only conclude they hide it because they know that that truth is so awful that the people will cry out and demand justice. They will demand accountability, and that means the people in charge will be fired because they deserve it.
Bruce, I understand you ran for sheriff or tried to run for sheriff. Tell me what happened.
I am still running for sheriff. I'm a candidate. I went in, pulled the papers, paid my $2,825, turned in my nominating signatures, swore the oath of office to be sworn in as a candidate, and the clerk refused to put my name on the ballot to give the people the right to choose who they want to vote for, because the legislature wrote a law that prohibits all public citizens from running from the office of county sheriff. It's a monopoly. I'm in court, we're in the appellate court, and we're going to beat it and restore the right of the people to vote for the candidate of their choice.
You want to be sheriff of Ventura County. What can you do that's different? What can you do that the people of Ventura County need?
We will have accountability. We will have a sheriff's office that respects the rights of the citizens. And we will have no cowards.